Yes, it's another Mr. Informal podcast coming from you from Los Angeles, California. It is 10:56 p.m. I know I'm doing this late, but it's the second episode of the podcast for Mr. Informal. I hope you enjoyed the first podcast. It's my first one. And so we got a topic going on around here. It was revealed as of last week from Mobile World Congress 2015. The hottest device in that show was the Samsung Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge. It was about an hour presentation by Samsung. I actually watched the whole thing and it was nice. It was concise. It was what they wanted to show. They didn't get into much details about how the process went. They just basically focus on what was the main thing that they needed to do. But the specs is out. It's been a week since the revealed, and so everything's confirmed now. The S6 will keep its 5.1 inch screen size, but it is now rocking a quad HD. That's 1440 with 2560 pixels. That gives it a 577 pixel per inch. That is quite detailed. That is a lot of pixel in just one phone, especially in a 5.1 inch phone. Rocking a Gorilla Glass front and back. No more plastic. That is the Gorilla Glass 4. Obviously, the Android Lollipop 60 megapixel back camera with optical image stabilization. It is now confirmed with a 4K video recording, also full HD, and obviously 720p with a 5 megapixel front camera with a f1.9 lens. That's hopefully the results for the front camera and back camera will be great. And also they're keeping the micro USB 2.0. Oh, let me correct that. The back camera has the f1.9. Only the back camera, not the front. And so they took out the USB 3.0. No more waterproof, actually. No more water resistant. They took out all the flaps. They took out the USB 3.0 from the Galaxy S5. And the colors are now white pearl, black sapphire, gold platinum, blue topaz, and also the green on the Galaxy S6 Edge, also the gold too. And and two major features that did not carry on this generation of the Galaxy series is that non-removable battery and non-expandable storage, meaning you cannot put a micro SD expansion. Although the substitute that they are giving us is three versions. One will have a 32 gig, 64 gig, and 128 gigabyte internal memory. And so no more micro SD and no more removable battery. Now, as for the S6 Edge, the only difference is that the Edge will have two curved edges on the left and right side, and it will have a bigger battery than the Galaxy S6. It will have a 26 milliamps compared to the 500 milliamps of the Galaxy S6, and that's actually 300 milliamps less than the Galaxy S5. They are saying that the Exynos processor is actually much more power efficient and it's actually less power draining compared to the counterparts of Qualcomm Snapdragon. And so quite a lot has changed. The biggest change for the Galaxy S6 is the aluminum frame and the two glass panels on the front and back, Gorilla Glass 4. and also the fingerprint scanning is also now just like Apple's fingerprint scanning. Instead of swiping, you just touch it, which that's how fingerprint scanner should be, is scanning it instead of swiping it. And so let's move on to the most important thing about the Galaxy S series as to why I think they killed off the Galaxy S series. Well, for one, the removable battery. I don't know how I should say this. Now, I've been reading a lot of reviews. I've been reading a lot of impressions saying that they don't really care about removable battery because they never remove it, or they just never taking it out. People don't seem to understand that batteries lose its charge over time. It will not hold its charge from the first time you bought the phone or the first time you used it. So by having access to the battery, you can buy a new battery and it will go back to, it will hold its charge again. It will have the same battery like the first time you used it. I don't understand why people think it's bad. It's they don't really care about it. And another thing is that, what if you needed to reset or the phone froze? You know, it's so much faster and much more convenient and practical to remove the battery and put it back in again and power on the device. And so I don't think people realize that. I don't think people realize the benefits of having a removable battery. Case in point, the Galaxy Note 4. It has a beautiful design, uses metal frame, and it uses a plastic bag with removable battery. I don't see what's wrong with that design. I really don't. Another benefit of having a removable battery is that your device can actually last much longer, more than 2 years or 3 years. At the rate that the technology is going, compared to the rate of what it used to be for mobile devices, is now slowing down. As you can tell, a lot of phones are keeping with the 2 gig or 3 gig. There's not a lot of phones that are going 4 gig. Maybe in the next year or two we'll get there, but there's not much benefits as of right now with 4 gigabytes. But going back onto the topic of removable battery, if you want to keep your device longer, more than 2 years, then that's your benefit. And another thing is that you don't need to bring another external portable battery devices. You can just buy a second battery and then charge it and then replace it if the first one is drained. So there's a lot of benefits of having removable battery. People just don't see the practicality and the convenience because they never experienced that. The second major thing is the micro SD expandability. Again, what if your phone breaks, freezes, somehow something happened, damage, or you dropped it in the toilet, dropped it on the pool, whatever, and it just won't turn on again. And all your music, your photos, your videos are inside the internal memory. How are you gonna get that? That's impossible. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of phones that went through like that. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, why didn't you back it up in the cloud drive? Okay, I agree with that. But what if the people, just normal people who are not tech savvy, don't know how to do that? Now they just lost everything. By having a micro SD card, at least it's saved on the micro SD, so they can just take it out, save it, and put have a memory card reader, and then just scan it and get the photos and videos from there. It's just so much practical. And people say that, having internal memory is actually a faster read and write speed than micro SD because it's a separate memory. Well, at the rate of technology going, there's a class 10, there's a class 8, depending on the speed. Does that 0.00 millisecond really matters in terms of real life performance? I don't think so. I think people are just trying to find an excuse, telling themselves that, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that. But the fact is that you're not the only one in the world that's actually using that. There's over 1 trillion people in the world, and there are people out there that actually doesn't have a fast internet speed compared to us. I mean, people say, oh, you can use the cloud drive. Okay, that's only if you have a good access and a good reception. But what if you don't? What about third world countries? They don't have that luxury compared to us. I think people in America just doesn't see the international hindsight to it. They don't see the international views in the third world countries out there who buys these devices because they like it, but they don't seem to forget that not everybody has a internet speed, wireless or receptions, or regarding radio bands. And so the benefits of those two, I think, is what's, how should I say this? It's not the same S series as what we've known to come, or what the S6 series and Android stand for. People buy the Galaxy S series mostly because of the technology and what it can do and what it actually has. Two of the major features that people bought the Samsung was, one, micro SD expandability, and two, removable battery. Those are the two major features that people bought. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more features that they bought for the other than those two, but I think those two are actually beneficial for the end user. Now, do I think that this will hold Samsung back? I don't think so. I think when it comes to design, I actually think the S6 and the S6 Edge hit it. It's a winner. It's beautiful, but I'm very concerned about the glass back, because if you go look at the Galaxy Nexus 4, it was fragile on the back, and I would not want the back panel to be glass. That's the last thing I would want. I would rather have plastic or metal. That's all I want. There's a reason why the iPhone 4 had a lot of breakage, even a lot of repairs because of the glass back panel. It's not really that good. I'm better off with a plastic or metal. But the S6 Edge is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, I think color-wise, the colors that it will have during launch is beautiful. But the two major features that people have known for the S series, even Samsung, has been lost. And the Galaxy S6 series will not be the same. And I've read a lot of comments that a lot of people would not buy because of the non-removable battery and micro SD expansion. Would I buy it? No, because of those two features. I'm one of those people that will not buy it. Maybe I'll come to terms with it, but I think this is the kind of trend that I would hate to see in the Android world, even in mobile devices world. Is that I would like to see micro expandability and also removable battery, because I read this one comment saying that removable battery nowadays were much better compared decades ago. I would disagree. Battery technology has not changed. We still use the same thing, alkaline batteries. You can say lithium batteries. It doesn't even matter. It has not changed. Here's what I don't understand. If the Motorola Droid Max can have 3000 milliamps battery at that small of a device, why can't others do the same? I don't understand. All I want on the phone is a phone that can last me the whole day without recharging the phone. That would be great. But if I really want a phone with a battery that's more than 3000, people say it's going to get thicker, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. Battery technology has not changed. Oh, and I forgot one thing in regards to the micro SD expandability. As more and more applications are made in Android, iOS, Windows Phone, BlackBerry, the size of the application becomes bigger. So if I buy a 32 gig Galaxy S6 Edge, that's not enough. If I buy a S6, what if I use the 64 gig? It won't be enough, because what if I want to record 4K? That's not enough. 128 gig, I think that's enough. That's a lot. But at the same time, again, if you lose that, if you hold on, even if you have 128 gig and if you want to back it up via cloud storage 4K, that's a lot of files being sent. That's a big of a file being sent. And I think I would not have the patience. That would take up most of my internet data's bandwidth. And so, in conclusion, my take on the Galaxy S series, I think, is that it lost its identity in terms of features. The Galaxy S series has been known to be one of the top phones in the Android world. You can say the M9 or the M8 in Motorola, but the Galaxy S series was one of the few, if not the only, phone that had removable battery and micro SD card. But if you remove that, what phones or what brands is going to take that place? LG? Hopefully LG does it. But will it be the same? Will LG follow Samsung lead by removing the battery and removing the SD expansion? Hopefully not. I really don't want the industry to go that way. It's basically saying, you know what, we might as well copy Apple. Would I want that? No. And that is the end of the second episode of podcast of Mr. Informal. I know I only touch on the technology, the Galaxy S6, but I will be touching on other subjects too. So hopefully you stay tuned, and I hope you all have a good night. Thank you. Bye bye. See you next time.